On this episode, lightning strikes twice, Clark gets to be normal, the father pimps out his daughter, and it's a car apocalypse. This episode is Leech. Hello everybody and welcome to Smallville Chronicles. I'm Lou Gonzalez, and with me as always is Alan Muir.
Man, this was a great episode.
This episode was all over the place, but the number one thing was sweet music and awesome trench coats.
Yeah, I kind of got a Columbine feeling from Shawn Ashmore.
It was just weird, that and his necklace, it was like this kind of barbed wire-esque thing, like it was so 90s, like...
It was so 90s rebel.
Yeah, like rebel, like pop punk. Like, he was like a combo. Without the trench coat, he was very much like a dirt bikey kid. Like, how was that one brand in that time? Like Fox Racing or something like that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Yeah, with his, like, he's just like, everything about him spoke like some 41.
Yes.
Like,
and that actually got me thinking about the MVP baseball series, because Sum 41, the song All Messed Up, was used in the first one, in their first game, and man, that just flooded back so many good memories.
It was just ridiculous. And then the jacket was just like, I guess it was a way to get around the cape thing, because it was so obviously meant to be like a cape, but also to show that he's like broody.
And he got called Superboy.
Yeah, that was interesting, because that has like a bunch of things that happen in like 2 lines right there. Because Chloe mentions like that is her first, which I guess is one of the subplots of this thing, is that it's Chloe's first byline in the town paper. So not even the high school one. They actually let her write a story for the town paper, even though she's a freshman in high school still.
And I'm pretty sure that you can't do that now.
I'm sure.
No, I mean something that level.
Oh no, like, well, one, those newspapers don't exist either. But yeah, like there's
also the character of Chloe going from 2001 to now. It would have been on just a Tumblr or a Facebook blog.
Oh my god, yeah, you couldn't do her. She would be like a
conspiracy nut.
Yeah, she would be on YouTube. She would have a like a vlog and be like really pretentious about it. She'd be like a Twitch streamer.
But instead of streaming games, she just streams The Wall of Weird.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, she's still more useful than Iris. Alright, but I guess we can start by getting into this plot, which just has a lot of bad parenting in this episode as well.
Well, no, they do, what's the word? They do parallels.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Between the Kents and
Summers.
Yeah, which I love that. Is it spelled like, do they spell it like the,
like Cyclops?
Yeah, like.
It's spelled like the month, but with an S.
That would have just been a jab at Marvel.
I think. I don't know. Did they spell it different for Cyclops?
Oh, wait, no, they do spell it the same way.
Yeah, because that's what, every time they said it, I was like, this is gotta be like a thing, because why else? Yeah, it's spelled the same way.
And this was a year after X-Men. Or no, a year and a half after X-Men.
Yeah, so it's definitely like a nod, because he was in X-Men, even though he's in it for 5 seconds. He has like 2 scenes, I think, in that movie, which we're talking about the Freak of the Week.
Shawn Ashmore.
Yes. Whose twin brother later on becomes Jimmy Olsen #1.
And Jimmy Olsen #2.
Yes.
God, that's so stupid, and I love it.
Oh my god, I just saw it. I didn't realize, but they actually played a Sum 41 song in this episode. I must have missed when that was. Because the only one I remembered was...
Was that when he was carrying that gigantic balloon box?
It must have been. Because the only song I remembered, like, actually hearing was the first one, which was the Stain song, and I was like, oh shit, like, early 2000s, so emo. Like, they were like the king emo band.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to bring up Stained on Phantom Zone.
Why?
I'm not allowed to bring up Stained, Evanescence, because...
So, like, all the emo bands of the early 2000s?
Yeah, because WWE used them for a bunch of pay-per-views.
Oh my god, yes they did.
And Connor is anti-wrestling now.
Oh, well, it's complete trash.
Yeah.
Alright, so we can actually get into the plot of this episode. It's a pretty simple episode. Basically, our Freak of the Week, Eric Summers, his dad is the science teacher of this high school, and they're on a geology field trip, and they're looking for rocks. Obviously, Eric finds a meteor rock, which is on their list, Eric's dad is a complete dick after Eric kind of hits on that girl.
Who has a boyfriend.
Who has a boyfriend who's on the football team, I'm assuming. He's a jock. He's, jock number 12 that we met this season.
I think this character, not this character, but this actor reappears in season, around the time Lois shows up. I think he's the character that was, the episode with Jeff Johns, not to be confused with comics Jeff Johns, but quote-unquote Jeff Johns. It's the episode where Clark is being scouted and he goes to Med U.
I'm looking up. So the character's name is Brent, but I don't see he was played by Will Sanderson, but I don't see any other things that Will did in this show. I can check another site.
If it's not him, then he has a twin. He has a clone out there.
Yep, no, this is the only episode he was in of this show.
Interesting.
Otherwise, his next biggest claim to fame is he's the voice of a character in the Hot Wheels games.
Oh, that's so, oh man. If I was him, I'd just retire.
Yeah, no, that's just trash. But basically, Brent kind of tells Eric to piss off, and then instead of backing him, we find out that the teacher is Eric's dad, who is an even bigger dick to him.
Yeah, he's a Stargate SG-1 alum.
Okay, he's one of those, character actor guys that's, in everything, but he's not big enough to know his name, at least for me. But everybody gets back on the bus, except Eric's not there, and his dad's, a little bitch about it. So Clark, being Clark, decides to go find him. This is where we get the most emo scene on television of all time, which is Eric standing on the edge of a bridge with headphones on,
he's not standing on the bridge, he's standing on the railing.
Yeah, he's standing on the railing. My favorite part was he had the very early 2000s headphones that went around your ear, that went across the back of your neck. That was a new thing in that time period.
Yeah,
and this is where
I had one of those.
Yeah, so did I. And this is where he's listening to Stained. Probably, if this is 01, still on a CD player.
Yeah, they show a CD player.
Okay, yeah, because this would be really close to when, not iPods, but MP3 players were hitting. Because I'm trying to remember, because I'm the exact age of the characters here. I think the first MP3 players I saw someone with was when I was a sophomore, and it was a big goddamn deal. So they could have a couple hundred songs. I think 100 songs on one thing instead of the 12 on a CD.
Yeah, I remember the local FYE, which went out of business a few years later. They had a whole wall of off-brand MP3 players. Every single one I bought always crapped out.
Yep, I remember having ones that were really small, the size of they took one AA battery or two, and they were kind of just a little bit bigger than that. They did all sorts of different stuff. This is pre-iPod.
Yeah, I also used it to do the most early 90s thing, which was using the microphone, or the built-in microphone, to just record songs from the radio.
Making mixtapes?
Oh no, I didn't make mixtapes. I wouldn't do that. I would try and record full-length baseball games. Never made it.
This is funny.
Yeah, it always died halfway through.
Alright, so back to where we're seeing Eric listening to Stained, standing up on the bridge. Clark grabs him, but Eric is he's been chucking rocks off, and of course he's holding a meteor rock.
Yeah, and lightning strikes.
And it actually strikes them twice, I believe. Right?
It actually strikes, it does strike twice. Strikes right next to him, which causes him to lose his balance and start
leaning over where he's about to fall.
Yeah, Clark grabs him. Or no, he grabs his bag. And lightning strikes Clark's heart. And since Shawn Ashmore is holding a meteor rock, you get this nice effect of Clark's powers, which apparently is just kryptonite. And it's just a Freaky Friday power swap.
Yep.
Where instead of switching bodies, they just switch abilities. And Clark goes to try to put the fire out on Shawn Ashmore gets burned and he's just dumbfounded.
Yeah, sorry, my dog was just like going nuts for some reason. I was just like waiting him out.
Could be worse.
Yep.
Could have been when the DC fanboys were
attacking Eric's house.
No, they were attacking us while we were recording. God, they will not let it. We were just joking. They don't know how to take jokes. And it's like, right. I'm on your side. I like Smallville. I enjoyed Arrow Season 3. I
think the next scene we get is Clark trying to help Jonathan, and this is when he realizes that he has no powers. So he first tries to lift the truck, then he misses the bus like we see in the first episode, but he doesn't have speed.
Yeah, he tries lifting it, falls back, then Jonathan notices that Clark's nose is bleeding. And at first, they're worried, or they think it's just another metamorphosis, like as Martha says, his X-ray vision. Yeah,
which would make sense, like, in the way the show works. Like, I completely understand.
Yeah, I don't think this has ever happened in the comics. Like this
the power swap thing?
Well, I think that has happened in the comics, but no, I'm talking about the way they did it in this episode.
No, where there's like a kind of outside element
interfering.
Yeah. Not anything where it wasn't planned. Like, I feel like anytime they do that, it's someone's, like, nefarious plot to steal Clark's powers. But I think they do this on TV stuff, like, all the time. Like, we've seen it on Flash. They actually do it again, and they do it twice more, at least in the show. Because they do it with Lana, and they do it, later on in another episode.
Lois.
Yeah, I think they do it all the time. It's like a...
Fun fact, that episode is the introduction of the Legion of Doom with Solomon Grundy, Captain Cold, and Solomon Grundy looked better on that in that episode than he does on his entire appearances on Gotham.
I didn't even know that they did him in Gotham.
Yeah, they turned Butch into Solomon Grundy.
Oh my god! I only watched season 1 of it, and it was so bad, so I stopped. But I do remember they did a sort of Solomon Grundy. They called him Cyrus Gold in Arrow season 2.
Arrow season 2. Yeah, with the Mercury.
Yeah.
God, Arrow season 2 is like...
It's still not, like, Arrow season 2 is good, but that's still, like, when they get into anything that's, like, super naturally, it's goofy.
Well, the only person that can make that work is Matt Ryan.
Well, yeah, but that's, like, straight actual magic.
Yeah.
Alright, so while we see Clark depowered, we see him in gym class. We see Eric at home, and his father is again being shitty and keeps saying sorry. His father goes to, like, backhand him across the back of his head. Like, he winds up for a real shot, and Eric catches him. And his father's like, how'd you do that? And his father says, you're the scientist, figure it out.
Yeah, and he just freaked out and, like, you're gonna get a ride from your mother. And just gets the fuck out of there.
Yeah. It was definitely very interesting. And then we see, after gym class, Clark is all sweaty, and, like, Pete's like, oh man, you usually don't break a sweat, and blah blah, and then Clark's like, oh man, this pain in my leg, and he's like, it's a cramp, walk it off.
Yeah.
But this leads us to Eric is in the weight room.
And Clark goes to talk to him, and Eric lies about how Clark asks him if he's okay and everything. Eric nonchalantly says, yeah, and just tries to get Clark away, or tries to shoo him away. And he starts lifting what?
600? No, it says 600 pounds. I made a note of it because, if you didn't know it, there is no way any bench machine, or any machine probably, would ever go up to 600 pounds. Maybe like a deadlift machine, but like, I don't think, like, I would kind of want to Google the world record for benching, and guarantee you it's probably not even like 500 pounds. So like, I looked at that, I was like, why does this high school in Kansas have a bench that goes so far?
Steroids!
But it was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, it's nice to get some goofs in.
But it's like it's one of those things, especially in this episode, where there were things that were there because it's a TV show that were absolutely, hilarious.
Such as?
Oh, what we see in a couple of seconds. Basically, when the next time we see Eric, He's like standing eyeballing the girl. I never caught her name.
I don't think they actually give her a name.
She's just girl of his dreams.
She's
Brent's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like eyeballing her, and then Chloe and Pete are walking, and then random mugger in the town of Smallville, out of nowhere, steals Chloe's purse, and he super speeds over, tells him to stop. The guy goes to stab him with a giant knife, which is, you get that awesome knife effect, the shattering effect.
He tries to stab him in the hand, or in the palm.
And then he chucks him across the street where there happens to be a truck carrying plate glass and goes right through it. That's what I meant by, like, the funny things for a TV show. Like, why is there a truck carrying plate glass right there?
Who ordered it?
But I guess this is a town where a lot of people's windows get blown out because people keep getting thrown through them.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a car dealer in this town or you sell plate glass windows, you are making bank in Smallville.
And to add more, Chloe and Pete are talking about Clark, and Pete says that when they got to math class, Clark just fell into a coma. Noticing, or just talking about how, like, he's still doing his chores, he can't make it, and Pete said something along the lines of, yeah, he absolutely face planted during the math test or something.
Yeah, because we get a bunch of that, because Clark, I think at some point on the farm, Jonathan asks him how he's doing, and he's like, doing pretty good for it taking me 2 hours to do chores that used to take me 5 minutes.
Yeah, and there's a nice line where he asks Jonathan how he does it. Like, how does he do all these things? How has he done it for all these years?
Oh yeah, and he says, years of practice.
Yeah, it sort of reminded me of that episode of Supergirl, season 1, where Kara is wondering how does Cat Grant do all these things? Like, how does she manage work, personal life, appearances? At this point, Smallville is a way better show than Supergirl. Sorry, Supergirl.
Yeah, well, Supergirl season 1 was very good, and then it just fell off the table.
Because they took the one thing that was special from it, having a female be the hero, and adding Mon-El vigilante, a vigilante, or making Jimmy Olsen a vigilante.
Yeah, well, the other thing is they also made it so that they basically eliminated the interesting part, which is probably the most interesting part of this show too, is that they got rid of Kara, and they focus only on Supergirl. While Smallville, there is no Superman. You see his powers, a couple of times an episode, but it's all about Clark. And that's what really made that show interesting, especially in season 1, was seeing Kara, the person, deal with having an alter ego now that...
Excuse me, her name is pronounced Kira.
But that was also a big thing that they lost when they lost close to Flockhart. That show completely changed.
Yeah.
And I think they've even said that for next season that they're like not even going to be at Catco anymore. So the entire thing is gone.
That show's going to get canceled.
It's so bad. Like, it sucks because Melissa Benoist is great, but like
she is great on. It's sort of like the crossover effect where all the actors on a single, like, when they do the crossovers, they're so much better. For example, Flash and the crossover, like the Flash characters in the crossover and the Crisis on Earth X, and the Supergirl characters in the Crisis on Earth X, and last season the duet of crossover between Flash and Supergirl.
Oh yeah, the musical episode was great. It'll be interesting. They set up, in case you didn't know, kind of like a Red Sun thing going forward.
Yeah,
but they also dealt with time travel, which is always a thing.
Yeah, I saw the video. I saw a video titled "Supergirl Finale Saboteur," and I was like, "What?" And I actually thought they were gonna have Saboteur be on a villain for Supergirl.
Oh, okay, as opposed to, like, I guess somebody was trying to make a joke that it's like their own version of Saboteur.
Yeah, and I was very disappointed.
Well, we long for the days of Saboteur and Flash.
No, I long for the days of Zoom.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, that's how bad that show got, too. But even Savitar was better than this past season.
God, now...
This is funny how we're, like, going off on these CW shows and not talking about this episode. But, I think that's because, like, this episode's pretty good, so there's not a lot to critique in it. But it's also a very simple plot episode.
Yeah, and we get a lot more of the... It's not like, last week. There's actually development and stuff in this episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
And world building.
Yeah, there's a lot of foreshadowing and world building, which is kind of like where we are at this point in this episode is where we get, like, all of our B-plots.
We also get returns from Roger Nixon, Lionel.
Yep, so the first one, like you said, is Roger Nixon returns with, like, a really bad CGI video of what the experts that he's gathered think happened in the accident, which is exactly what happened, which is Lex hitting Clark at 60 miles an hour and going over the bridge. We also get the meeting somewhere in here between Lex, Victoria, and Victoria's father. Sir Harry, where they're late, and then they basically screw over Lex by buying out Cadmus Labs, which we saw 2 or 3 episodes ago.
No, it was...
It was like the second Victoria. It was the one where the kid could be invisible.
Yeah, that episode where
Clark sees her on the laptop.
Yeah, and I don't understand why she didn't... I'm just wondering why she didn't say anything like, get out of here, or get out of here, peasant.
I think because, to me, that even then, like, she knew that she got caught, and to make it seem as nonchalant as possible, so that maybe Clark wouldn't bring it up.
Yeah.
But this is the conclusion of basically the Victoria plotline. It's only, I think it's like 2 scenes in this episode, really?
Yeah, there's 2 meetings in the same room.
Yeah, it's like somewhere like in the Luthor Corp, I'm guessing in Metropolis. So the first one is Harry and Victoria reveal that she was just there as a corporate spy.
Or she was trying to make things good. She was trying to better her relationship with her father.
Yes, by spying on Lex.
And Lex was doing a similar thing with Lionel, but with Victoria and Sir Harry, it's more of a family thing. With Lex and Lionel, it's more of a chess game. Yes,
because so in the second one, we get revealed that Lex set everything up knowing that this was all the case.
And how Cadmus is worthless. Yeah.
And basically tank their stock, and then the Luthors are going to buy their company out.
Yeah, because Sir Harry mentioned that or Lex said that with all the patents that Cadmus would put out, it would give Sir Harry enough money to buy out Luthor Corp outright.
I did think it was interesting in of this time, like the conversation Lex has with Victoria, because he basically calls her out on all her bullshit, being like, this is what I made, like, in the beginning, like, the pimping out his daughter. So basically, Sir Harry pimps out his daughter. Because Lex even says, like, she's like, it was business, how could you just do this to me? He's like, sleeping with me was business? So what does that make you? And she slaps him, but he's correct.
Well, no, wrong. I think, didn't he say work instead of business?
I don't remember exactly his phrases.
There was some indication of prostitution.
Oh, here it is. She says it was just business, and he responds, you call sleeping with me business? I'd hate to think what that makes you.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder what she's up to now.
Yeah. Like, but he's not wrong. Like, yeah. She basically had sex with him, because if this was her whole plan, her father, I guess maybe it's not on her father, but like, she had sex with Lex to get close to him, to steal stuff to then give to her father, and she never cared about him, so then it was sort of transactional, but then it gets to the whole weirdness at the end, which I really don't get.
Let's wait till the end, until we get closer to the end to
talk about that,
because that was just creepy.
Yeah. So our other couple of little subplots that are all kind of mixed in here is, again, we already talked about the Chloe byline in the Smallville paper.
What about Lana and Nell?
Yes.
In the movie theater.
Yeah. So we get Aunt Nell, Lana's aunt, is selling the flower shop and the movie theater, which is a weird thing that she also owns.
Yeah, because there's really no talk of it before.
No. I was trying to remember. I'm like, I know she doesn't work at the coffee shop, but she works at something similar to it soon. And I couldn't remember what it was. And yeah, it's the movie theater because it has a name, doesn't it? Like
the Talon.
The Talon. Okay.
Which they actually, it got to the point where I was just so much where I fell back. When I first discovered Smallville, let's just say I found other ways around getting the earlier seasons, but now I've paid for pretty much all of them, and I have the box set, so I've kind of spent more than what. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, during this period where I was like really into Smallville, yeah, I bought the theme, which was from the Talon mix.
Wait, so they put like a mix out for the movie theater?
No, they put out it was the soundtrack, it was like a soundtrack for the show.
Okay.
I mean, or music from the show. Mainly for the first 2 seasons, which I imagine probably wouldn't sell much right now.
No, probably because you have it on physical media, like a CD or something.
Oh no, I bought it on iTunes.
Oh, okay.
But I'm talking about the music that's on the album.
Oh, okay.
But going back to the Talon, there's a moment that Clark and Lana have where he's normal, and they have this nice discussion about, Clark says, or mentions something about the last of the Jujubes.
Oh, yes.
And Lana tells this very heartwarming story of how her mother was there watching Close Encounters, and her father was working the concession working concession when he was still in college. And Clark says, who would walk out on Close Encounters? And Lana says, I don't think she liked aliens, not probably, foreshadowing the fear that Clark has if he ever told Lana the truth about him, which we'll find out later on down the line.
Well, they always do a bunch of those things. I think she even says at one point, like, later on, oh, what would you do with those powers? And, like, so thinking about, like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to fly?
Oh, no, I'm talking about I think it's the Freddy Krueger-esque episode where it's like, where Clark is having nightmares and he's at a hospital. Lana's there and she blames him for her parents dying. And then this is before the second meteor shower. And as Clark is saying, repeatedly yelling, no, 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 the meteors come raining down, and it's a very out there scene.
Oh yeah, I don't remember this. I guess that's part of the thing of like rewatching the shows, you get to rediscover. Because I remember this episode, but I didn't remember all the little things.
And there's also another little plot with Lex coming to see Clark while Clark is working on the defenses.
Yeah, I guess, when Clark is doing it, he's like, what's the matter? You can't lift it. And he's like, I've been baling hay all day, I can barely lift my arms. And Clark basically gets offended and challenges him to hit him with the hammer.
Yeah, this is sort of the downfall of, this is starting to sow the seeds of the downfall of Clark and Lex's friendship, because Clark wasn't honest with Lex, and that's basically what Lex didn't like, because he says, Clark, you're the closest thing, you're the first real friend I've had in a long time.
Yeah, it definitely is, it's one of those things that they play with, and they tried to copy in Supergirl this past season with Lena. It's like, this idea of being dishonest, and I think it only works with the Luthors a lot, because the way that you build their families around is that, they're always dishonest with each other. So, anytime somebody's dishonest with them, it kind of just blows up any sort of trust they have. But to get back to the episode, there's really not too much left in it. We basically cut back to Eric with his parents. They want to send him off to get some testing done. His mom is scared of him, and basically he throws his dad up against the wall and basically says, no one can tell me what to do ever again. No one can tell, I can do whatever I want. I can have whoever I want.
Yeah, this is because his father is, first he wants to get some medical tests done. Then he wants to take him to see a colleague he knows in Metropolis, basically to try to make from what I said, make money off his son.
Yeah, it's just he was like not treating him like a son, but treating him like a
test subject.
Yes, a test subject
Or guinea pig.
Yep. But basically, right off of Eric's words of "I can have anyone I want," he goes to the school
with the boombox, that big ass boombox,
and he asks out a cute girl who doesn't have a name,
just blonde girl.
Yeah, blonde girl. And then Jock boyfriend, I forgot his name already, goes to it's like, oh, like you just did some stunt, and then he just like smacks off and explodes basically a side view mirror of a car.
And then we get this awesome scene of, I don't know if it was CG or not, had to have been, of him lifting the car up because the Jock hid underneath it. So he then flips the car.
Yeah, it was like 3 times.
Yeah, and I was like, man, another episode where they're destroying a car.
Oh, there's like 7 cars destroyed in this episode.
Yeah.
Because Clark goes to stop him, and then what happens? He gets his finishing move done on him, which is shoving someone across the field, and he basically lands and just on top of the roof of a car and gets his shit wrecked.
Yeah.
Like, it would be hilarious if someone, like, if this were, it just reminded me of, like, a Friday movie, and someone just would have ran up and said, like, you got knocked the fuck out. Like, Clark just got laid out. And apparently when we see him at the doctor, he has, like, some damage, but he doesn't even have a broken bone, which is insane.
Well, his ribs are basically hurt.
And but the doctor says they're not broken, though, which is insane.
Yeah, considering what that car looked like after Clark landed on it, he should be really hurt.
Yeah, he has, like, a cut on his head, and then, like, I guess he just has, like, damage to his rib area, but nothing's broken. Even though he basically got, like, put through a car.
Yeah. And Lex comes and sees him, and they make up because there's Lex sees proof for this episode that there's no way that Clark could have survived if he was hit at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah. Which leads to him talking to Roger Dixon again and telling him to just that, like, there's no way, like, I saw that he can be hurt, that this is impossible, and that the Kents are off limits, and I'm dropping this whole thing.
Yeah, and what happened? Which happened first, the Lionel thing or
the Nixon thing?
No. I know the Nixon Lionel thing happens around the same. Like they're both in the same scene.
Oh, at the end?
Yeah.
I think Roger Nixon's in 3 scenes because I think he tells him to drop it, and that's when Lex is still at the desk. And then at the end is another scene when Nixon comes back with other information and hands him a file.
Yeah, and you think it'd be about Clark.
Yes, but it's not.
No, it's very bad Photoshop of
Lionel and Victoria
in bed.
Like, which I don't even understand.
Yeah, why?
So is it implying that Lionel put Victoria up to the whole thing to test Lex? Or is it that she was playing both of them?
Or she tried with Lionel and failed, so then she tried to go with Lex.
Yeah, I'm not sure the implication. I don't know if they ever clear it up, but I couldn't figure out if she tried Lionel and then went to Lex, or if Lionel put her up to the whole thing to test Lex, which I don't think makes any sense. I think what you said that she tried Lionel and then him second, so he kind of got his dad's sloppy seconds, which is really gross.
Yeah.
It also makes her character very terrible and very bad in 2018, or as I say, problematic. But basically, to go back to the plot, because we really have not that much left, Eric goes back home after this, his mom is scared of him, and his dad is also scared of him and comes at him with a golf club. They call the cops.
And Clark comes by later on, and the whole place is just fucking wrecked.
It's a war zone. There's a car through the roof of the house.
There's a car flipped on fire.
But this is also after Clark talks with his parents and figures out, that no one knows his weakness because his weakness might be mine, which is the meteor rock. And he goes and asks Lana to borrow the necklace. And then he goes there, and this is when the dad tells him he went to go try to get rid of it, where it happened. So Clark realizes the bridge. We see the bridge. Eric jumps off of the bridge, and Clark runs around looking for him, and then Eric's just, behind him. So, did he super speed up there, or did he fly up there? Because we don't see it. We hear the sound, and then he's just behind him.
I have no idea.
Yeah, no.
It's gotta be a continuity error.
Because there's he falls farther than where Clark is standing at the end. Which also they're at some sort of, Smallville has a power dam. It's not just a bridge, it's a dam. Which is I guess there's a little transformer thing there.
Yeah, because in the ensuing plot, or in the, what you can call a fight, Eric rips one of the cables out that's sparking. Clark grabs the necklace, and everything goes well again for Clark. Not for Eric, but for Clark.
Yeah, and they swap their powers back. There are like two things that I forgot. Like when he goes to get the necklace from Lana, he kind of talks as if he knows that he's going to die, and she definitely picks up on all this.
Yeah.
It's definitely, if you listen to like how he's talking, it's I'm going to go to, he's on a suicide mission. Because he basically knows that if he confronts Eric and it goes wrong, he will die. Because basically that's what's going to happen. Eric is going to kill him.
Considering everything that Eric has done prior, it's a wise move by Clark.
Mm-hmm. And so after the power swap back and everything is fine, Clark goes and sees Lana again. And actually, we didn't mention, but as she said earlier, like, oh, when he didn't have his powers, it looks like the weight of the world is off you. You're less Clark Kent-ish. And now she's like, oh, it looks like that weight is back on. And he hands her back the necklace in the jewelry box that Lex had given him earlier. That's lead-lined, and hands it to her. And she's like, oh, just because you don't want me to wear it. And they reiterate their line from earlier, they're like moving forward, like letting go of the past. And that is the end of this episode. There was one little subplot we didn't talk about. They only really address it in like one scene, and it's the stuff with Whitney and his dad.
Yeah, that he has to man the store.
Yeah, that basically he's not getting his homework done or his workouts, and he's going to lose his scholarship because he has to take care of his dad. Because that plays out really soon, I think, in like an episode or two. But that's basically the end of our episode today. Did you have any overall thoughts on the episode that we haven't gone over?
I just thought it was a really good episode. And that this is one of those special episodes where it can be categorized as both filler and story building. Yeah,
because you need this episode to get the ending of the Victoria thing, and most of the important stuff is the Lex stuff. The Lex, the Whitney, and getting kind of more Lana backstory. All the other stuff, the actual freak is all the filler. It's all like the actual B plot that's important.
And how long is it until we get to Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Oh god, I don't know.
Because
I actually did not remember that he was in this until now.
Because the episode when we were talking about how this character comes back in, I think, season 3,
mm-hmm.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas is also there.
Oh god.
He's Jonathan Taylor Thomas's mutant power, not mutant. Well, yeah, mutant power. He's basically multiple men.
Oh yeah.
And he's just a real prick.
Well, he's probably still on a home improvement at this time, or just left it, or trying to do movies, one of those things.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. Okay, this is gonna make me sound like a real asshole, but you know the move where someone grabs, like, palm faces someone and they're trying to move and stuff and they just can't?
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised. I just wonder why Clark didn't do that, or that with both hands, because he can only make one other copy or one other multiple.
You just hold one on either side.
Yeah, it would just be a funny scene.
I think probably because, like, Jonathan Taylor Thomas was a big enough name at this time, and his shortness was, like, probably something that he didn't want exploited, because it was always a joke that he, like, never grew. Because he's, like, 5'2" at best, right?
Yeah, he's gotta be.
But yeah, this was a good episode, and like you said, yeah, it was like half filler, half world building, and like this episode moved all the B plots, like season B plots forward, but not the main plot of the story. Which, I don't even know if in season 1, there's really a main plot for Clark. It's just more like us seeing Clark evolve. I guess, like, his main plot is his relationship with Lana.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's not really much, like, all the important things are the stuff going on, like, the things that carry over, the stuff going on between Lex and Lionel, and then the overall acknowledgement of what the Meteorots are and what they're doing to people. So really the most important plots in this season are the stuff that Chloe's investigating and the stuff with Lex. And then Clark's just kind of like the entertainment factor for most of the other stuff, and we're just kind of living through him.
There's a quote there's a exchange between Clark and Martha that just really sold me on this episode, where it's after he lost his abilities. Clark says, "You don't feel any differently about me now, do you?" And Martha says, "Clark, you're our son, whether you can bench press the tractor or not."
Yeah, that was good. That kind of goes with when Clark asks Jonathan if they were ever scared of him. And he basically says,
"Yeah, Clark, your gifts are, well, they're part of you. They don't define you."
Yeah, and then he kind of tells a story of like, oh, well, you threw some tantrums when you were a little kid, but, nothing where we were ever, like, afraid for our lives.
Yeah, he says, we had some holes in the walls, but you were a good kid. And they even mention how they even mention Eric when Clark says, I don't think Eric's a bad kid. Jonathan says, oh, neither do I. He's just a teenager who's in way over his head, that's all.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite scene of this episode, because Clark then responds like, his issues, he didn't have my two greatest powers, referring to Jonathan and Martha.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty minor, but I still wanted to bring it up because it just shows how much being normal means to Clark. The basketball game between him and
Pete, Whitney, and Jock Guy.
Yeah, Jock Guy. And he was missing a lot of shots, but he didn't care. He even gets knocked down by Whitney, and he there's like a little grin on his face.
Yeah, he's kind of, it's like one of the things is that I think he says to John, it's like, oh, it's the first time, like, I've been able to play basketball without fear of hurting someone, something like that.
The only thing that I didn't like there's only one real downside of that season, and that's how, it's how they don't give Eric Johnson much to work with. Like, he's a poorly written character.
Is that Whitney?
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep floating him between being like asshole jock and then being a sympathetic guy dealing with like a horrible family thing. But like anytime you start to feel bad for him, then he's a complete douche.
Yeah.
Cause like that was like last episode, like he was just a complete douche the whole time. But that's the problem sometimes with Lana as well. Like anytime, like there are episodes where she's like, where you're actually like, oh, she's awesome, and then last episode she's a complete dick to Clark.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still going on about that time that Whitney strung you up in the cornfield? Still absolutely ridiculous that was said. But yeah, we went over my favorite scene. Did you have any favorite scene, or was it something we already went over?
My favorite scene had to have been all the stuff between Lex and Clark. What's the word?
Their like banter.
Yeah, about whether or not Clark is telling the truth, whether or not Lex is lying. And my God, this episode came out on my birthday like 16 years ago.
Oh yeah, I think we had mine. It was like 2 ago. I think we talked about that. My worst thing, like, there wasn't necessarily a scene that I thought was the worst, but like, whoever was the wardrobe person was goddamn.
Yeah, because
that jacket,
the trench coat.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's too big. Like, it's way too big on him. It's almost on the floor. Like, I get what they were going for. It reminded me of oh man, what was that garbage show they made after this with the woman, Birds of Prey?
Oh yeah.
It reminded me of that trench coat.
Hey, they had only one good scene in Birds of Prey, and that was where they show Oracle's backstory, and they got Mark Hamill to voice Joker.
Oh, I didn't know that. I do remember that Oracle is the one girl from Starship Troopers.
Seriously?
Yeah, she's not Denise Richards, she's the other one.
Dizzy?
Yeah, that's Oracle.
Yeah, they do, which shows how bad the show is.
Yeah.
They had a silhouette of the Joker, and Mark Hamill said the lines, and you just hear a gunshot. God, I hope we never have to watch Birds of Prey.
No, I don't think I can do that to myself. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about from this episode before we just do the stuff with the next episode? I'm gonna bring it up again because it just weirded me out. Just those photos of Lionel and Victoria just weirded me out. Yeah, they were not good. But I guess we can now preview the next episode, which is Kinetic. So let's listen to the preview.
On the WB's New Tuesday, an untouchable secret society.
It's like they stepped out of the world.
Unexplainable in form.
You saw what those guys did. It defies every law of physics.
They are unstoppable. An all-new Smallville.
Alright, I did not remember this, but once I heard it, like, all of it came flying through my head, remembering this episode and how ridiculous this is, and...
Oh yeah, about walking, going through, or robbing Lex, hurting Chloe, yeah.
Yeah, they steal a lot, obviously, from X-Men in this, because the walking through walls is, most famously for Shadowcat, but actually the tattoo thing, I can't remember. At some point, they did a New Mutants, where there was a character they basically say his powers are whatever he gets a tattoo of, that's his power. I don't remember the character's name, but then you eventually find out that it's not actually him who is the mutant, it's his tattoo artist.
Did he not tell the guy?
He didn't figure it. No, like, and neither of them knew it. So, like, if he drew, like, wings, the guy could fly. He drew, like, a radiation thing on his hand so he could, like, shoot radiation out. I don't remember. It was, like, towards the end of when I, like, kind of got off of Marvel. But yeah, it was an interesting concept.
If I was that person, I would just get a, like, Ghostbusters sign, but instead of the ghost, it's a, bullet, so you're bulletproof.
Yeah, I think he got, like, can't remember. He did get something where he was, like, kind of tough. I remember if it was, like, bricks or something. Or something simple that, like, made him, yeah, he got, like, a bunch of weird types. Like, they were all, like, you kind of got what they would mean, but, like, how they interpreted them to make a power didn't make sense. It's like he didn't get, like, wings off of his back. Like, he just was able to fly once he had wings tattooed on him.
Did it have to be full size or just?
I think they were full size, but, like, some of his tattoos were, like, he had, like, the radiation symbol tattooed on his hand.
That's metal.
So, yeah, I can't remember what the character's name was. I'll look it up at some other point.
They, did something similar on Misfits, where instead of, they had it was a tattoo artist who had the ability, but instead of, like, there was I think it was supposed to be a love interest type of thing, but it never truly took off because Robert Sheehan left the show in season 2, or at the end of series 2. But he likes this girl Kelly who all of a sudden is in love with a tattoo artist who put, you know those heart tattoos where it has a person's name in it?
Yes.
It's that, and the tattoo artist did that to Robert Sheehan's character, but instead of Kelly, it was Simon, who was played by Ewan Ryan from Game of Thrones, aka Ramsay Bolton, and it's gotta be it's one of the best episodes of the show because he just randomly makes a reference to what was that movie with Tom Cruise, Renee Zellweger?
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, Nathan says it'll be like Jerry Maguire. I'll be Tom, he'll be Renee Zellweger, and someone else can be a little specky kid. You seriously have to watch the show. It's on Hulu, all 5 series.
I'll have to check it out now that I'm done with Luke Cage. I did find out the X-Man I was talking about is Ink, which obviously it's his nickname. But yeah, so he has the Biohazard, I got a wrong tattoo on his hand, which makes people sick. He was in, Days of Future Past. Oh, was he? I didn't see that movie.
Yeah,
I think I actually own it, and I haven't seen it because I got it as a gift.
Yeah, he's
one of the, like, the newer New Mutants, or who's New Mutants?
Who created him?
Let me click his wiki. I was on, like, the X-Men, like, fandom wiki, Guggenheim.
Interesting. Because the scene where Stryker tries to take Havoc, Toad, and Ink to, Trask Industries, you see something on his hand, and he makes everyone in there throw up.
Yeah, he has that one.
Does he have a tattoo, like, around his eye or something?
Yeah, so he has, on his other hand, like, lines that mimic Colossus's, like, metal flesh and that make him invulnerable. He has lightning tattoos on his temples that allow him to be psychic. He has wings on his back that can make him fly. He has an explosive symbol on his bicep that can make him blow up objects and punch through walls. He has a Catius. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like it's a symbol that lets him heal people. It's like a doctor symbol.
Oh.
And then he has a phoenix symbol over his eye that lets him use the phoenix force. So he's like super OP.
Only with the X-Men you get, at least with the Inhumans, they have, not saying I hate them, I don't like the X-Men, I do, but I just wish they weren't killing off the Inhumans.
Yeah, the X-Men are just like too overpowered sometimes.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had him and Hope Summers, they could just like they would just feed off of each other.
They would wipe out the entire Inhumans.
Yeah, I have to catch up. I have to find some books to read while I'm on my flight this week.
Okay, listeners, and that was Alan and Lou's rant, or tangent.
Yeah.
That's the ticket. Tangent. We better trademark that.
Yeah. The, one last thing for this next episode. Do you know who is randomly in it before they were famous? That's like not even really credited.
Who?
The Wasp. Evangeline Lilly.
What?
Yeah, she plays like her character's name is just Girlfriend. She's like one of the Freak's girlfriends.
Actually, this does make sense. Have you ever heard of G4?
Yeah, of course.
Did you ever hear of a show called Judgment Day?
No, I don't remember. Was that one of their like scripted shows?
No, it ran from 2002 to about 2006 or 7. It had Victor Lucas and Tommy Tallarico, and they were reviewing games. They would review tech stuff, and they'd have attractive girls showing off the gadgets. Evangeline Lilly was on there a bunch of times.
Yeah, so she's actually on this and 4 other episodes as an extra.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I saw that in here and I was like, wait, what? Yeah, so our next episode will have the Wasp somewhere running around in the background for 5 seconds. I guess in this episode she's probably in it more since she's actually has a name, even though that name is just girlfriend. I guess in the other one she's just an extra in the background period. But that's where I guess we'll leave y'all, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode of the Smallville Chronicles. I'm Lou Gonzalez.
I'm Alan Muir, and this podcast stands for Truth, Justice, and American Way. You know how I feel about Warren Brothers.